How does a BNI chapter with great people and seemingly everything going for it still become a group that nobody wants to be part of? You see, over the years, I've only ever seen two things that will kill a strong BNI chapter. Heck, just this past week, I saw a chapter that used to be 73 members strong make the decision to close their doors. And unfortunately, that was not a unique situation, because underneath all those numbers that we just love to track in BNI are two elements that are incredibly easy to overlook. And when either one of those elements disappears, even a great chapter can slowly become mediocre or even close their doors. So let's start with the first one. The first element is positive attitude. And I know that may sound a little bit fluffy, but I encourage you, just hear me out for a minute. When people hear negative members, they usually picture somebody that is complaining about everything. But that's rarely how negativity actually shows up in BNI chapters. Instead, it's usually not so in your face. It's a little bit more subtle. It's the conversations before the meeting. It's the gossip afterwards. It's that subtle eye roll when someone says something a little out of context. You see, none of those things seem catastrophic by themselves. But a negative culture is rarely created by one huge explosive moment. Instead, it's created by hundreds of these little ones. And when that negativity really starts to spread, the members feel it, the leadership team feels it, and your visitors absolutely feel it. They may not know exactly what's wrong, but they definitely know that something's a little off. Now, positive attitude doesn't mean everything has got to be rainbow and sunshine all the time. Every chapter has its issues, but there's a huge difference between saying, hey, this chapter sucks, and saying, you know what, we've got a problem, and what can we do to really start to fix it? See, strong chapters, they attack problems without attacking people, and that's a very important distinction to make in your group. But here's where things get interesting. You could have this incredibly positive group of people and still have a chapter that's headed in the wrong direction. Because the second piece of this is the one that is more commonly missed. The second element is lack of accountability. Ivan Misner, founder of BNI, I think he said it best. One of the best things about BNI is that everyone becomes friends, and one of the worst things about BNI is that everyone becomes friends. The person sitting next to you, they slowly start showing up late, and rather than addressing it, we let it slide. Maybe they stop doing one-to-ones and nobody says anything, or their weekly presentations become a little sloppy and you just laugh it off. And slowly, over time, those standards become nothing more than suggestions, because we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. That sound familiar? But I would argue something a little bit different here. There's a difference between a friend and a best friend. Best friends, they're willing to hold each other accountable and to hold each other to these high standards. I'm not going to watch you develop bad habits that are going to hurt your results and just say nothing at all. That's not friendship, that's avoidance. You see, accountability, it's not something that's done to you, it's something that is done for you. And when we hold each other accountable, what we're actually doing is we're saying, you're capable of doing more or being a little bit better. And that's a big part of protecting the culture of your chapter. Unfortunately, when accountability disappears, your highest performers, they're the ones that are going to notice that first. They see members getting away with things that they would never accept for themselves. And eventually they start asking, why am I working this hard when nobody else seems to care? Because high performers want to be surrounded by other high performers. They're attracted to those high standards. And high performers tend to run the other direction from mediocrity. So when you lower the standards to keep everybody comfortable, what you're actually doing is pushing away the exact people you want more of in your group. So neither of these elements work particularly well alone. You need both of them. Positive attitude without accountability creates a false harmony in the chapter. Everything may look good on the surface, but when you dig one layer deeper, you discover what's actually holding your chapter back. And it's no coincidence that both positive attitude and accountability are BNI core values. So if your chapter wants to grow, don't only look at the numbers, pay attention to the culture underneath them. because your traffic lights can tell you what's happening, but sometimes they can't tell you why it's happening. So here's the question I'd like you to ask about your chapter. Are we creating a culture where people feel good enough to belong, but challenged enough to become better? Because that right there, that is the sweet spot. Positive attitude makes people want to be there, and accountability makes the group worth belonging to. So if you found this helpful today, share it with someone who is helping to build that culture of your chapter. And if you want to learn more about building a stronger BNI chapter and getting better referral results, check out this next video right here, and I'll see you soon.